Alright, I'm going to make this quick. This is what arrived. This is the blade, and inside the blade is foam, which I'm going to shoot the foam under mag here in a little bit. But there's the foam, you know, I mean, it's standard looking foam. You can kind of see that it's, you know, got a pretty big opening in it, but I mean, it's, you know, it's blade foam. So as soon as I took it out of the packaging, I was a bit shocked, because I've worked with transwhite blades, both on in-hilt sabers and when I was initially experimenting with neopixels. So I happen to have a transwhite blade here. Now the foam's in this one right now, so it appears more white. Let me pull the foam out of it. So this is a transwhite blade. This is the Saber Experts blade. You know, to me, to my eye, they look the same. Maybe the transwhite may be a little bit milkier than the Saber Experts blade might be a little bit milkier than the transwhite blade, but this is not the picture that's on their website, which it looks like it's got some gold, you know, chromatic coating on the inside. That's one of the reasons I was so pissed. Yeah, transwhite works for neopixels. It diffuses them pretty well. I'm more partial to the TCSS strip diffuser, the white plastic tube inside of a clear blade. But, you know, transwhite works pretty good, so I can see that. But to me, to my own eye, and I'm looking on the inside of this blade right now, and this isn't going to show up on video camera here, but I mean, there's no difference. This is the Saber Experts blade, and this is the transwhite blade. You know, even the feeling on the inside, it's just polycarbonate. You know, there's no rough or etchy feeling, chemicky feeling. Those are the two blades. Now, in here I also have a Master Replicas blade, and I have some TCSS foam, and I have some Master Replicas foam. Y'all should know the Master Replicas foam because of the cross section of it here is different than, you know, the TCSS foam. So this is the TCSS foam that I had in stock. This is Master Replicas, and this is the Saber Experts foam. You know, the TCSS and Saber Experts is pretty similar. It looks like they're thinner, and the density looks, to be honest with you, the Saber Experts actually looks less dense than the TCSS foam, and this is the Generation 1 TCSS foam. So here we have a set of neopixels wired to just a quick prism test rig. I'm going to hook this up and fire these neopixels. This is just my test strip and my test rig that I test blades with. Okay, this is the Saber Experts foam, and this is the Saber Experts blade. I'm going to pop it in there. My impromptu blade. Here we go. There is some vertical shadowing, but a little bit of corn cobbing, but not bad. Blue looks really good. A little bit of shadowing on cyan. A little bit of corn cobbing there on the really light cyan right down here. And the corn cobbing never shows up on video because the neopixels blow out the video, but there is a little bit of corn cobbing there. Not bad. Now let's try the TCSS transwhite blade. The corn cobbing is much more severe. You can see the individual LEDs, so it looks like I'm eating crow. While they look the same, the Saber Experts blade is diffusing the LEDs better. It's still got its issues. I mean, just the foam isn't enough. You're still going to have to add stuff inside of here, but doesn't look near as bad as the trans whites. I mean, the trans whites, each LED is visible through this foam in the trans white, like really bad. So this is the TCSS trans white and the Saber Experts foam. Now I'm going to put the Saber Experts blade back on there. So the Saber Experts blade is definitely diffusing the LEDs a lot better, but there is still some corn cobbing with just the foam inside the blade and the strings. You have to forgive all those clashes. I'm running hard wire right to my speaker and it's inducing clashes. But I'm eating crow. It's diffusing it better than a trans white, but it still is going to have some extra diffusion stuff in there. Heck, I think Cal's foam would do really good in this blade. I'm eating crow. I guess I'm just missing a tip. Okay, so now I put the strips into MR foam that I have on hand, and this is the Saber Experts blade. And yeah, wow, with the MR foam, it's pretty darn good. Damn it, you gotta hate that about prisms sometimes, right? Looks really good on red. Actually looks really good on cyan. It's okay on green. You know, yellow, you're getting a bit of corn cobbing there. And with orange, some corn cobbing. And then, you know, that looks good. Try the trans white blade. So on goes the TCSS trans white blade. Of course there's not foam down there in the end. This is a full 40-inch blade. Yeah, you know, I can still, it's not going to show on the video, but I still have individual pixels showing up all down the blade. on the transwhite. So definitely the Saber Experts blade does a way better job of diffusion than the transwhite blade alone. But I still think you're going to have to do something besides just the foam and the strips to get it right. One last test here while we're here. So this is my typical blade, which is a clear, of course, TCSS blade. Ooh. Clear TCSS blade with the strip diffuser inside of it. This is my normal diffusion method along with some cellophane. So I'm going to take the MR foam TCSS strip diffuser and we're going to fire this one. Damn it, Prism, come on. Basically the same, well, maybe a little bit less on that gold and the orange than was on the Saber Essentials as far as some corn cobbing there. So let's look at red on Saber Essentials. So I'm going to pull out, oops, come on strip diffuser. I want the strip diffuser to stay with the blade there. So I'm going to try the Saber Essentials blade on there and have a gander at it again. You know, I'm still, look, I think the Saber Essentials blade is better than transwhite. I mean, the reason I didn't go with transwhite is I never could get rid of all of the corn cobbing on transwhite. That's why I went with the clear tubes. I mean, I did a bunch of testing last year with neopixels and all different kind of blades. And my favorite results are still clear tube, white strip diffuser, MR foam with some cellophane, and of course shrink wrap. But with that being said, I think this Saber Experts blade is way better than my test on transwhites. My preference is still the white strip diffuser and the TCSS clear blade, but it's really a close call between these two blades. I think this Saber Expert blade does a pretty decent job of neopixel diffusion. Very, very close to the TCSS clear with the white strip diffuser. Very close. Alright, last little tidbit here before I wrap this up for tonight is we'll talk about these foam inserts really quick. So the foam you're looking at right now, this is actually the Saber Experts foam, and you have to forgive me in the video. I know I kept saying Saber Essentials because I got Adrian Tan speakers on the brain right now from the build I just had. But this is Saber Experts foam. And it's very similar to TCSS foam. Now, as far as density, but essentially the density of these two foams is relatively similar. TCSS is a little bit thicker, which of course that makes it hard to get your blades in. So you just look at the surface and how big the bubbles are on that foam, and then I'm going to roll in the MR foam. Now the MR foam is much denser, almost a solid type foam. The air bubbles aren't quite as dense. Of course, this video doesn't really do it justice. But this is MR, and then next in the picture is TCSS foam. And then next is Saber Experts. So TCSS and Saber Experts is relatively similar, but the MR is its own little world. It's a little bit more dense. That's why the MR foam is so much better at diffusion. You know, in the video I said, you know, I think my preference is for the TCSS blade with the white neopixel strip diffuser, but in hindsight I think they're relatively at a tie, and being that the Saber Experts, you only have the blade, you don't have another piece of garbage in there, the strip diffuser. I almost think that makes the Saber Experts blade easier to use for most people that are building these blades. So I'm going to give the nod for simplicity of build to Saber Experts on this whole deal tonight. And again, my apologies about my initial reaction when I got the blade in the mail. Definitely overreacted. It's been a bad week, I guess. At any rate, may the force be with you all.